Hey everybody, what's going on? It is James here with Crypto Common Sense, aka 3 Peaks Trading. And in this video, I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. We're going to talk about markets, talk about my thoughts on the market. And this is not going to be about trading. This is going to be about what I think the market could be doing. I'm going to present a couple different scenarios because I don't know what the market's doing. I just know that there's some similarities happening, some fractals in play, and only time will tell which one ends up being accurate. So the first one I want to talk about is, let's just take this away for a second. We have this chart. We've all seen this chart. This chart is amazing, right? If you actually trade this and understand the psychology of a market cycle, it makes it very, very easy to do very, very well. And so, for example, we saw this play out in 2018. We saw Bitcoin play out almost perfectly during this. We saw Bitcoin play out again following this chart in 2021, which we can pull that one up. This is Bitcoin versus QQQ. So we'll just zoom out so we can see what's going on here. So that was the chart that I posted up in November 2021. Did a good job. We're still waiting to find out whether this was anger back here or whether this was actually depression back here. This could end up being the disbelief rally over here, or we may just be past anger. But when we look at this, the interesting thing is, if we look at the NASDAQ, for example, I know a lot of people that follow this channel are into cryptocurrency. Again, my belief is that cryptocurrency is a tech asset inside of the tech market, and that it follows the tech market. And so we have to be mindful of what the tech market is doing, the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ, when looking at it versus the US dollar chart, it looks eerily similar. By the way, this is a quarterly chart. Every candle is 3 months. It looks eerily similar to this psychology chart, with this being a potential complacency bounce, okay? It would be invalidated if it takes out this high back here. That is one possible scenario. And of course, if we're looking at this versus the dot-com bubble, which is the most recent tech bubble, big tech bubble, we can see it's, had the same type of behavior on a monthly chart back here. Before the NASDAQ actually fell over 80% from its high. It fell about 82.85%. And then we had basically a lost decade, where from 2002 all the way through 2008, 2009, price ground sideways, and really in 2009 was where you wanted to get back involved in those tech stocks. So about a 9-year hiatus from the top back in 2000. And again, not to make a bunch of arguments about this. It is what it is. We can see it. It's similar. Maybe that's what's happening. What is interesting though, and I think other people have probably talked about this, I don't keep up with YouTube or social media anymore with trading related content, so I don't know what other people are saying. That helps me in my trading, not seeing other people's biases, but surely someone else has pointed this out. But what I rarely see anyone ever talk about in the 6.5 years that I've been doing this, maybe once ever, I've seen somebody else talk about money supply. And when I look at the NASDAQ versus money supply, the chart looks completely different. And it's really hard to say what's going on here. So let me get some of this off and I'll kind of explain this. So this was the dot-com bubble back in 2000. We can see that the NASDAQ was actually far higher 20 years ago than it is today. We can see that this was the 2007 housing crisis before it came crashing back down and retested the 2002 lows. And we can see that this was the high before the COVID crash of 2020. But if you look at this chart objectively and not with any fundamentals in mind, just purely from an objective technical analysis standpoint, this drop, which occurred because of all the money printing, this drop very well could be disbelief. Look at this. This would be our euphoria back here. Right here would be our complacency bounce. Okay. This would be our disbelief rally possibly, or maybe even a rally like this could be anger back here. This could be like this rally through here. This could be the depression phase all through here. And all of this could have been the disbelief rally, meaning this COVID quote-unquote crash was actually the disbelief going. Now, if that's the case, all bets are off for the NASDAQ and by default also Bitcoin. Because if this is what's happening, and if this is actually ready to start a whole new bull run after the Disbelief crash, then who knows what that US dollar chart is going to look like when it's all said and done. We look at it now and it looks completely parabolic. It looks ridiculous. It's like it's got to come down. But for all we know, 10 years from now, this will be some kind of range through here, and this will go way the hell up here, and then finally have its huge crash. We really don't know. And, I know some people watch this and say, well, that doesn't help me. You're saying you don't know. Of course I don't know. Nobody knows. I'm simply presenting a couple of different things to be mindful. If this takes out this high back here, there's a lot of argument to be made that because of the money supply and because of the different landscape that we're operating in, the US dollar chart is null and void. Okay. And if you look at Bitcoin, that money stock chart, I'm trying to break my watch. That money stock chart has been very, very accurate. I posted something up over on Twitter in 2022, late 2022. So there's this post, which we'll talk about in a minute, but somewhere in here, there it is. Bitcoin sitting near the bottom of its multi-year range. Now this was versus money supply. And what happened in November of 2022 with Bitcoin? Well, that was right here. That was this candlestick. That was literally the low of this chart, from that point forward, obviously, and we've just went straight up from there. And so, yes, money stock charts matter. Yes, the TA matters on a money stock chart. And again, if you look at this, the actual high on Bitcoin versus money supply was really back in 2017. We didn't come nowhere near that high. Not in 2019, not in 2021, and not in 2022. Like, we just haven't touched that high versus money supply. And of course, if we put Fibonacci levels on there, we can see that, this is all pretty standard stuff. Came down here, had a retracement almost perfectly to the 61.8. If we draw from the top to the all-time low, since that point, again, we kind of consolidated just below that 61.8 in the dumps. So this is really just a range, okay? So money supply charts definitely matter. All those are things that I would, strongly recommend you keep in mind, because this time is different, guys. It is different. It's not the same as before. We don't know what Bitcoin is going to do. We don't know what the stock market is going to do. We're living in unprecedented times. All right, if we look at Bitcoin on a bit stamp chart, so we got a little more history. Our VWAP, or a volume weighted average from, back in 2011 is actually down around 8,400 or so. But, what happens from here? Historically, we get one red year, and then a new bull market kicks off. One red year, 3 years of good. One red year, 3 years of good. One red year, are we going to have 3 years of good? Possibly so. All right. We jump back over to Twitter, just look at some of these old posts. Not much has changed on Bitcoin. That's one of the reasons that I stopped doing videos, because it was like, why do a video every day saying the same thing? Here is a chart from November 15th, 2022, talking about it testing the 2019 highs versus QQQ. Again, that was where it decided to bounce at, just very basic technical analysis. And if you look at November 22nd, I made a post saying that 100% bear market rallies are par for the course, right? November 10th, 2022. And saying that, I wouldn't be surprised to see 100% rally on the total market cap. And then a move lower from that. Well, if we look at this chart here, and then we go look at the total market cap, let's compare apples to apples. This is a weekly chart. So that was early November 2022. That was right here. Again, what happened? The market has been rallying ever since that trading view. Come on, man. Ever since that point, the market has been rallying. Have we made it to 100% pump yet? Pretty close, if not 93.5%. So far, this is all still pretty standard bear market behavior. I know everybody's like, oh, you freaking bear. I'm not neutral. I'm not bearish. I'm just pointing out some bullish scenarios, some bullish technicals, and I'm pointing out the obvious bearish technicals. And so far, this is still very much a bear market on a larger time frame. Okay, larger time frame, starting back at the peak in 2021, What we had was we had a low, a lower high, a lower low. And so far, all we're doing is putting in a lower high. So if you're going by, regular TA on a monthly chart, downtrend. Okay. Now there's going to be arguments. People are like, no, go further out. This is actually an uptrend. Fair enough. They'll make that argument. High, low, lower high, kind of ranging, right? I mean, they're going to try to make that argument. I'd say the problem with that argument is this. Here's your higher low. Here's your higher high. Like put it on a line chart, so easy to see. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Ooh, lower low. So again, it's broke structure on the yearly chart or the 3-month chart as well. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't have a lot of interest in Bitcoin anymore. I can't do a lot with it. I can trade the ETFs, but it's just one of a lot of different ETFs that I have access to. So other than that, that's kind of what I'm watching. I'm just curious to find out whether it's going to be the US dollar chart. Look at how perfect that is. Whether it's going to be the US dollar chart that wins this battle, or whether it's going to be the money supply chart. Don't know. 50-50. I don't even want to lean one way or the other. What I'd like to do is just present some things, and then you all can go down that rabbit hole on your own and do your own due diligence and find out what you believe. Okay? I'm just here to open some doors. It's up to you to walk through those doors and do your own due diligence after that. So I'll go ahead and wrap the video up there. Hopefully you enjoyed that. As always, please remember that I'm still just some guy. I'm sitting in a spare bedroom. That means that nothing in this video is financial advice. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice. I'm a licensed financial advisor for making any type of investment in cryptocurrency, the stock market, precious metals, Forex, or any other tradable asset. This is James with Crypto Common Sense, aka 3 Peaks Trading, reminding everyone to please trade safe, and I will talk to you soon.